welcome back to Talk with Sharifa. If you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Sharifa, and my music name is New Lily. If you're new to my channel, please check out my How I Became a Targeted Individual summary and or full story. And the links to both of those videos are located in the description box as well as in the comment section. All right, guys. I know it's been a while since I've posted. I've actually been trying to steer away from making videos, and more so focus on, bettering myself and being as productive as I can be with what's going on. Um, I've been working out, and actually a video's coming soon. If the Most High spares my life, I'm planning to post a before video so you guys can see my progress. I will be tracking my progress as I work out. I've actually started this routine, changed up my diet, and I've started this workout routine kind of similar to how I was in my early 20s. I'm kind of trying to get back to that lifestyle and just get myself in shape, because I am in the house all day long, not working. I have applied to some jobs, still just waiting to hear back. I did hear back from one of the jobs today, and I have an interview next week. So, I don't know how that's going to go. I'm not getting my hopes up, but I'm not being negative about it either. Just praying for the best. But that is happening. And so this is something I'm looking forward to. But in the meantime, like I said, I've been kind of just in the house, hadn't heard back from any jobs prior to today. So it's just like in the house, just trying to work out, and just be productive despite what's happening. That's just me. I've always been that way. So even if bad things are happening, I'm never the kind to just give up or just lay there and let it consume me. I'm sorry, I heard a noise in the background. But I'm never the kind to just give up or let it consume me. I've never been that kind of person. And then also too, I'm a fighter. Obviously, the most I had a battle for me, several battles for me in this lifetime. And so this is what I'm dealing with. This is why I'm so strong. I didn't really understand it, and now I do. Why he made me the way he did. But anyway, so I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't want to go blank in the brain. It's been a while, guys. I haven't been on camera in a while. So, like I said, I will be coming with an update video. Not an update video per se, but like a before video. So, like a before video, I'll be coming with so that you guys can see basically what's going on, what I'm starting with, how I'm starting off. So I'll just be on camera. I'm gonna make sure that I'm on camera with that before video, and I'm going to let you guys just get to see my progress, track my progress. So I'll have that transformation moment. I'll let you guys see what I'm looking like now and then what I'm going to look like after, I guess you could say, a month of me working out, see the progress, because I am training vigorously. I'm working out every day. I'm only giving myself Saturdays off, and I'm working out twice a day. So I have a leg routine that I'm doing. And then in the evenings, on some days, I'm doing burpees. And then on 2 days out of the week, in the evenings, I'm doing like a 20-minute jog. So I'm really training myself vigorously, and just trying to, like I said, get my health up, get myself back to how I used to be, and just be as positive as I can with the draining reactive abuse scenario that I found myself in with this program. And so this is how I'm counteracting the program, and not only just documenting and advocating for myself and providing evidence and refuting everything that's basically being projected onto me, but then I'm also taking care of myself physically and remaining positive despite what's happening. So anyways, that video will be coming soon if the Most High spares my life. It'll be a before video. So I'm just warning y'all, I'm kind of out of shape. Actually, I don't look that bad. And I've been working out for 2 weeks and I'm starting to see results. So this is not like a exact before picture. How some people right before they start working out, they do a before picture. I've actually been working out and training myself for about 2 weeks now. And so I am seeing some development in my thighs. And so it's not a complete before picture. You will see a little bit of progress in my legs, but it's a before picture. And then I'll come back about a month later if the Most High spares my life and let y'all see my progress. I am training hard, guys. I'm taking creatine. I'm taking protein, drinking a lot of water, started taking certain supplements. So I'm taking care of myself, and just really trying to get myself back to the old me. This is what I'm trying to do right now. So anyways, going off on a tangent, guys, not really, because I know I haven't updated you guys in a while and I haven't made a video in a while. So I'm not going off on a tangent. I'm actually giving y'all an update of what's going on with me, but then also kind of trying to segue into what this video is about. Anyway, so that's why I haven't been posting, because I've literally, instead of letting this thing consume me and every minute trying to answer back to the tactics that they use in the program to torment you and just feel like I have to defend myself every minute, because that's literally how they will have you. Everything will be have you on edge, like eggshells. Like your life will become eggshells and everything will have you on edge continuously if you allow it to, if you allow this program to consume you. But once you learn how it works, then that's how you can beat it. And really beating it is just not reacting. That's the biggest thing with this program. Number one, not reacting to what's happening. And then I know that sounds crazy, but it's as simple as that, not reacting to what's happening. And then number two, focusing on being positive and projecting only positivity. And that's what you're going to attract back to yourself. So this is what I've been doing. And so this is why I've been working out. I've been focusing on myself and I've been really blocking out everything else. I'm really good at doing that and I've gotten good at doing it. So anyways, this video is just now kind of me coming in, giving y'all an update like I just did, but then also talking about some more information about the program, the targeted individual program. So by now, for those of you that are subscribed and have been following me, I know you're familiar with the name Michael Barden. I talked about him in several of my videos. I've even shared clips of him in several different videos because he provides pertinent information about the technology and tactics utilized in the program. They have actual patents for the mind control technology that is used on targeted individuals. Also, Obama signed the Brain Initiative, right, when he was in office. And so this is why you're seeing like a ramp up in cases, but it's more than that because Obama's just, following through with what the agenda is. I'm not really trying to go too deep in certain things because, at the end of the day, I've said this in several videos, this thing is bigger than me. And I wouldn't have even known about it had I not become targeted. The only reason I started digging so heavily is because I've been home twiddling my thumbs, not working, right? Being constantly bombarded with what they do, the tactics with the program, and kind of feeling like I was losing my mind, but not being the kind to give up and just let things swallow me. So instead, I started doing research and trying to figure out how I could beat this thing and why it's happening. And so this is how I started finding out more and more information. Literally, y'all, I've been targeted since 2020, 3 years now, right? And I only just found out that I was a target last year, at the end of last year, when I tried to relocate off of this island because I didn't know that this was a government program. I didn't know I was a target. I didn't even know what the heck that was, right? So I thought I could just relocate from the weirdness because that's what it felt like. It felt like just this weird, spiteful thing that was happening because I sent a text message that was taken out of context. That's what it felt like, right? And it was kind of reminiscent of what happened to me in the past when I was cyberbullied and cyberstalked. And even you could say physically bullied as well. I told y'all what happened in my recent video, my part 2 cyberstalking, cyberbullying video. So check out how far that situation went, right? So I kind of felt like this text message was a play off of that. Not saying that they were connected. They did start to coexist and co-occur. But I'm just saying it felt like it was reminiscent of that situation where they were taking things too far and kind of trying to do this spiteful type of retaliation type of thing because of a misunderstanding and something that I didn't do intentionally. And I even tried to apologize numerous times, y'all, before I tried to relocate off this island, and it continued what was happening. And so that was when I decided to resign from my teaching job and I tried to leave island. Again, not realizing this thing would follow me, and it did. And so this is what propelled me to start doing research because of the things that I experienced when I tried to relocate off island. You got to listen to my full story to know what I'm talking about. So hopefully you're not sitting here listening to this video without having listened to my story first. Even if you don't have time to listen to the full story, you can listen to the summary and get the gist of what started the targeting, and some of the things that I experienced when I tried to relocate. The full story tells you everything, the backdrop story and all, because I've been through a lot since my early 20s. Something very weird and heavy has been happening, right? For years. It's been years and years of crazy, right? But this is the craziest it's gotten. So anyways, the full story tells you all of that. And then the summary is more so just like I kind of, reference or briefly mention some of the things I dealt with in my early 20s. But I more so strictly tell you what started my targeting in 2020 and just some of the things that preceded my targeting. So anyways, so please don't sit here and listen if you haven't listened to my story because you are going to be kind of lost with what's going on. Anyway, so this video is just me kind of discussing more information that I found out. Because like I said, I didn't even know any of this stuff. I didn't know what a target was. I didn't know the COINTELPRO, Stasi Nazi government program that the U.S. adapted. This is all, it's new to me, relatively new info that I learned at the beginning of this year, and I just learned because at the end of last year or midway, right? Like summertime last year, I tried to relocate. The program followed me because it's a program and I didn't know that. I was heavily gang stalked, and covertly and overtly harassed in Indiana, Florida, and the states in between, right? And so by the time I came back to this island, I knew something very strange was happening. I knew this couldn't just be retaliation because of attacks. I knew it was something more happening. And so this is when I started to say, nah, I got to do research. This is weird. I said, there has to be somebody out there that has experienced what I'm experiencing, because this is beyond anything I've ever experienced. Yes, I went through some stuff in my early 20s, but this, I said, there's no way I'm the only human on earth dealing with this. And so I started doing research when I got back to island after trying to relocate. And I started typing in gang stalking. I didn't even type in gang stalking. I didn't know that term. I think what I typed in is groups of people stalking you, or people being stalked by groups of people. That's what I typed in. And that was when I came across the term gang stalking. And that was when I got introduced to the targeted individual community. And from there, it was a wrap. You know me, right? If you've been watching my videos, I like to read, I like to research. And when I get into something, I really get into it. Like I have this hyper focus because of my ADD and Asperger's. And so when I get on a topic or something that I'm interested in, I learn everything there is to learn about it, much less for something that's completely debilitating my life, right? Of course, I sat there and I did research. So literally, you could say from the end of last year, beginning of this year to now, I've done nothing but research. So I know a lot about this program now. I'm very well versed on how this program works and how to handle it, because I didn't know before. I was having reactions to the abuse. It's called reactive abuse. And they were literally taking those reactions and using it to propel my targeting and to do more stuff to me. And so I had to really sit down, think clear-minded despite everything that was happening, pull out the warrior in me and learn what was happening and figure out how to fight. And so this is what I did. And this is where I stopped having these egregious reactions, stopped saying offensive stuff in reaction and anger to what was happening that felt unfair, stopped, exploding. And really my exploding wasn't exploding, because I'm not a reactionary person and I'm not a violent person. I'm very, very soft natured. I'm almost a pushover, you could say. Right? So for me to be somebody that started having rage fits, and when I say rage fits, let me tell you, again, it's not what I've seen some other targets doing, and I'm not judging. I completely understand the frustration. I completely understand. I'm just saying with me, it's not even like explosive where I'm getting violent, like physically fighting somebody, putting my hands. Actually, I've had people physically fight me and put their hands on me. Not the other way around. So it's not been that. It's been more so just my words, using some very harsh language, saying offensive shit. It got to the point where I said some racially charged things when I was in Florida because of some of the things I encountered in Indiana. In Florida is really where my targeting, if you listen to my story, and I'm not going to sit here and tell it again because I have a bad habit of doing that. But if you've listened to the story, you'll hear me say that it went viral when I tried to relocate off island, right? Because of something that happened on the Greyhound with a homeless man. And again, that was a reaction to something that had happened a few moments prior in the Greyhound station. That was what made my targeting go viral. And then from there, I had some outrageous reactions to what was happening to me. Then I had an incident with a police officer where he, automatically started screaming at me as soon as he got out of his vehicle. And I had already been being stalked on the road for days in Indiana by droves and droves of people, and I didn't know what was going on. And then I had people in my close circle calling me on the phone, telling me every minute to be careful. It's a sundown state, and, they're racists out there, and you don't want to be hanging from a tree and things like that. Telling me things like that and calling me, and my car is bugged. And they're already following me and having this perception of me because of what took place on the Greyhound bus. So you can imagine that my targeting started getting very gnarly, right? The gang stalking. And so when the officer pulled me over, he was off rip screaming at me. And I think he had this warped perception of me. I think he thought that I came from a prejudiced family. I think he thought that I mistreated homeless people. And I think he came out of his vehicle on 10. And so I was scared for my life. And so I started recording. And when he went in his vehicle, he took my license and went in his vehicle. I knew my car was bugged. I was being stalked by droves and droves of people for days. So I purposely said out loud for him to hear, I'm recording him. I said I am recording him because I'm scared. I called the people in my close circle. I just gave them a quick rundown of what was going on. And I said, I'm recording him because I'm scared. I said, I'm recording him. As soon as I said that, when this officer came back to my car, he was totally like a different human being. His whole demeanor had changed. He was talking to me nice and sweet. He gave me my license. He said, go where you're going safely now, okay? Just being really nice and sweet to me. Complete polar opposite to what I had experienced when he first got out his vehicle, the way he was screaming at me. So after that encounter, my targeting went more viral. So it went viral from the situation with the homeless guy. And again, you have to listen to my story to hear what happened in that moment and why I reacted how I did. Because that's something they ran with too to propel my targeting. That's what made it go viral. That was the first thing, right? So then with this officer, when that thing happened, that was when I started not only being stalked by droves and droves of civilians, right? Then I started seeing police cars getting involved in my gang stalking. I started seeing helicopters flying overhead. I started seeing fire trucks. I started seeing EMTs. And this is where the major corporations, government corporations, started getting involved. After that encounter with that police officer, when I was just literally scared for my life, right? So this is how unfair it's been. And this is why I document and I very clearly articulate what's going on, because if I don't, they would have a field day with my ass. And this is why I got smart and I learned the program. And I realized my best defense against this is to document, articulate what's going on, and refute everything they try to do and come with. And this is how I counteract the program. And this is how I've literally kept my head above water, is by using my brain and not letting this thing swallow me and getting me so upset that I act ignorant rather than using my wit, right? So anyways, so all of these things started happening. I'm getting stalked by people, droves of people. I'm getting stalked by government officials of all natures, right? The fire department, the police department, helicopters flying over it. You would have swore I was a criminal on America's Most Wanted, the way that they were using resources on me after that incident with that police officer. So anyways, after that, things just got really racially charged in my targeting. Like, they kept setting up these weird scenarios, street theater, that's what it's called in the community. These weird scenarios where white officers would be arresting black civilians. They kept doing it and setting it up. And it was just a lot of racially charged things that I was dealing with in Indiana. So by the time I got down to Florida, I was not in my right state of mind. I had lost weight. My face was breaking out. I was not in the right state of mind. And then in Florida, things got even worse. The targeting was worse. And I didn't even know that was possible because it was so bad in Indiana. But it was worse in Florida. Literally people trying to run me off the road because they had whatever perception they had of me because of whatever recording was shown to them without the backdrop story being told. This is how unfair and sick and twisted this program is. It's literally a framing program, right? So this is what was happening to me in Florida. The type of treatment I was getting. It's to the point now where my tax guy who lives in Florida, you could tell they done sent him whatever. He's even in on it, right? He's giving horrible, shitty ass service, right? I've gone to this guy for years and gotten good service from him. I had to run him down all year. I filed with this man last year, right? Like fall of last year, I filed with him. From then to now, I've been running him down trying to get my taxes. Every minute it's an excuse why I can't get in touch with him, right? So I finally get in touch with him. I'm like, I still haven't gotten my taxes. And so as he said, okay, well, let's make a call, right? This is what he says, let's make a call, right? So he makes the call with me. And as he's making the call, I'm hearing a child crying in the background. He keeps doing that. It's, again, a framing program. Understand that. They run with certain narratives, and they try to portray false narratives to propel what they're trying to do with their agenda. This is how the program works. And so this is why your best defense is documentation, because I know my story makes sense. And I know they know full well that what they're trying to portray isn't making sense. They just don't like me as a person. That's what it really boils down to. So anyways, when he did that, because he's been doing that, keeps doing this child crying in the background while he's giving me the shitty service. And so I nearly snapped on him yesterday, and he started to stammer on his words because I was tired of the bullshit and I wanted my tax money. At the point where I don't even have a job, I can't afford to be playing up with tax money that I should have gotten since last year. And so this is why he was like, okay, Mr., that's my last name, that he will deal with it. When he got off the phone with me, because I said, the reason why they're saying that my taxes basically got rejected is because he didn't give them my personal PIN, the personal PIN that I gave him since last year, right? And he didn't even have the wherewithal to figure out that was the problem. You filed my taxes, you didn't give the PIN, you haven't been contacting me, you haven't been in touch, you're running whatever narrative you've been told. When I'm somebody that's worked with you for years, that you had a good repertoire with. The man even followed me on Instagram. It's just disgusting. It's like people are so freaking easy to follow, like lamb and sheeps, right? Without even really knowing what's going on. And it's actually funny too, because they did an experiment on BBC, and in that experiment, they said it's very easy for people to turn against someone without even having the evidence. And they did an experiment, and they had a law enforcement official go in, right, and tell that the grocery clerk that that person was a wanted criminal. It was just an experiment. The person wasn't a criminal at all. And she followed orders and moved on the premise that this person was a criminal. And so this was the experiment that they did. I need to find that video. It was such a good video. But that's literally how this program works. People don't even have to know the real story. They just hear what they hear and they move off of that premise. It's a really comprehensive, sick program. So I'm disgusted with that man. I really am. But I try to still be patient with him, right? And just move off of whatever, not flip off on him and have a bad reaction, because this is what I was doing before, and this is what made my targeting worse. That was before I learned how the program worked. So now I know patience. You have to not get mad. You have to be very calm. You have to be able to this takes the patience of a saint. I'm telling you. The kind of stuff you deal with in this program, and to not get mad and to stay level-headed and not get mad and be able to articulate and, defend yourself the way that you need to, I can't even explain it to you, right? But this is where it's at for me. This is where I'm at. I'm at like freaking ninja level right now where I'm at with this, how good I am at this now, compared to how I used to be and what my reactions used to be. So anyways, with this man, I didn't pop off on him. Instead, I just let him say that he was going to check into my IRS and get the pin and fix things. I didn't even call him today. I didn't even want to hear his voice. I'm so annoyed, right? But I sent him an email yesterday. I sent him like 4 emails, basically with links to my story, my YouTube, telling my story so he could hear my side of the story. And that was just the start of it, because I see Michael Barden doing that too. And that was how he was able to get his eBay store up and running again, because this is what you have to do with this program, or else they'll have a field day with your ass if you're not defending yourself and providing documentation. Anyway, so not meaning to go off on a tangent, guys, but I had to say all of that to say that the program is comprehensive. And if you don't learn it and learn how to operate in the program, then you are screwed. You have to learn how to operate in this program or you will be freaking screwed. Had I not started making videos, despite all the backlash I got, they would have been running with so many narratives. I had to sit here and literally tell my story and provide evidence and documentation of what was going on, or else who knows what would have been happening right now. This is why I had to start telling my story and running and making these videos. So anyways, I went off on a tangent with the tax. I didn't even really want to mention him in this video, but I had to because, that's kind of what this video is about. I'm, like I said, giving more information about the program. And more info that I found out from watching a video for Michael Barden. So it's like a 3-minute or 4-minute video, and I'm about to share it with you and then kind of talk about it. But he's just talking about 3 different people, names that you should be familiar with if you're a target. And it's people that had direct connection to some of the tactics and technology used in this program. One of the first things he mentions is shadow networking. So if you recall, those of you that have been following me, I have posted several videos talking about targeting through the TV. And then when I was on that little tip that I was on where I said I wasn't going to talk about this stuff anymore and I was going to focus on the positive, and I had deleted a bunch of my videos. So not when all of my videos where I was on camera got deleted. That had nothing to do with me. When that computer got confiscated, not that time. The second time recently where I deleted some of my content, that was me. That was me just trying to, stay out of trouble and, kind of realizing, again, this program is bigger than me. It's not really like little old me could defeat this. This is only something the most I could really defeat. All I'm trying to do is survive at this point and fight and advocate for myself. That's why I make my videos. There's nothing bigger than that. I don't even care about the rest of it, to be quite real with you, because I'm wise enough to know I can't beat this program. This thing is what? I can't beat this. This is all encompassing. This is something that's way bigger than me. I can't beat this. I'm not stupid enough to think that I can, but I am going to fight for myself and advocate for myself when I'm being treated unjustly, right? This is injustice. And so this is what my videos are about. So I don't allow myself to be gaslit when they kind of try to give me backlash for it. And so this is why I continue to make the videos anyway. But I realized I kind of said everything I wanted to say. I provided evidence, I even shared info about it, and it's just like, at this point, it's like anything else I post, I more so want it to be just positive updates, like job updates or, fitness updates, letting y'all see my fitness journey and where I'm at with that. things of that nature. I told y'all I'm trying to go back to school. I would like to get into medical school. I don't even know if I'll be staying in the US or if I'm trying to go to Africa. I really don't know. As a target, it's very weird and everything's up in the air. So I'm just literally updating y'all as I go. But that's what I'm trying to focus on now. Just kind of, posting positive things, not because of fear mongering or because they've made me feel like I can't post my videos, but because I feel like I've posted enough and I don't want to let this thing consume my life and every minute making videos about it, because you will lose your life to this program if you're constantly doing that. And actually, the girl I'm about to share, a clip from her video, because it ties into what I'm about to be talking about. Not going to share her yet, though. I'm going to share her after I share Michael Barden's video. But she said the same thing. I don't believe I'm sharing the part where she said this, but I will put the link to her video. So check out her whole video, because that whole video is good information. She's telling you about the program, how to deal with it, and even how you can detox the body. There's a natural herb that she's talking about at the beginning of the video. But in that video, she talks about the fact that, if you sit there all day long just focusing on what's done to you in this program and, saying I'm a victim. And, actually, I'm going to be sharing that part of her video now that I think about it, so I don't have to tell you. But if that's what you do all day long, and I need to document, I need to take this picture, I need to, all that, like, you will lose your mind and you will lose your years to this program. So you have to live as close to normal as you can with what's happening. And so that's what I've been trying to do. Stuck in the house, being stared at, all this different stuff happening, and I'm still working and I'm pushing my body to different levels and trying to get to a physical level where I feel content. That's what I'm trying to do, and take care of myself. Anyway, so, God, my brain went blank. I hate when that happens. So anyways, let me just share this thing with Michael Barden, though. So that's why, that's what I was saying. So that's why I kind of held off of posting, because like I said, I shared enough information to tell my story, right? And to refute some of the things that they do. I have a video for everything that they do. Every tactic that they do, I have a video for it, and I press play whenever they start doing it. This is where I'm at with it right now. But at the same time, it's just like I didn't feel like I needed to keep making videos about that stuff. So it was more so like anytime I need to document, which is not often anymore. I'm not really giving it much energy anymore. But I felt like I wanted to talk about this video with Michael Barden. And the only reason that I haven't done it is because I was procrastinating. I really didn't feel like it. Honestly, I'd want to share the information and it's pertinent, right? But at the same time, like I said, I've been focused on working out and stuff, and I just didn't feel like sitting here making the video. But just now, again, they were shadow networking me, because now I know what it's called. Just like how I learned a few months back that the abuse that they do to you is called reactive abuse. I learned what the terminology was. I now know what the terminology for the targeting through the TV is, because I went off on a tangent. Now I'm reeling it back in. So like I said, those of you a few minutes ago, before I went off on a major tangent, those of you that have been watching my videos, you will have seen, before I deleted them, some videos where I was talking about how they target you through the TV. And I was saying that I believe that they have some sort of AI generator that they use basically when they hack your accounts, like your YouTube. When you're a target, y'all know, if you're a target, you know what I'm talking about. They hack your YouTube, they hack your Hulu, Netflix, Facebook, Instagram, any type of social media outlet or technological app that you choose to use. It's hacked. Your cell phone, TV, whatever, Wi-Fi, anything that's on Wi-Fi, whatever, it's hacked. And they have, it's actually, something, they have a program for it. It's called shadow networking. I now know what it's called. I kept calling it targeting through the TV. I just knew that they were targeting me through the TV. And, like I said, I felt like they had some sort of AI generator, and I was correct. They had some sort of AI generator where they basically, hacked your stuff. And even though I deleted those videos, I do still have some videos where I talked about it recently. I can't remember which video, but I did just talk about it recently again. This stuff, the targeting through the TV. I don't remember which video. But I was saying that I believe that they had an AI generator where they could basically just, I guess, put keywords in, whatever stimuli they're trying to sensitize you to. And sensitization is just making you start to recognize certain things, because they'll constantly send you that stimuli and make noises in the background, or, do certain things so that you can recognize that stimuli, and you start to become sensitized to it. So you might have a reaction without them even making the noises at a certain point, right? So that's really been a thing with me, especially since I'm an anxious person. Of course, they love to run with that too, and they're staring at you while they do it. So they send you the stimuli to sensitize you, and then stare at you. This is how the program works. Stare at you for your reaction and make noises. And if they don't get a reaction, they'll make a little bit of noise to try to get the reaction. That's how the program works. But this is why you see, and this is, I'm going off on a tangent again. I'm going to say this very quickly and not stay on this too long. I did make a video that I took down. This was one of the videos, and I regret deleting it too, where I was talking about schizophrenia being a fictitious illness and the fact that schizophrenics are really targeted individuals that have been gaslit so good that they don't realize that they're actually targets. But one of the symptoms of schizophrenia is targeting through the TV. And what that is shadow networking. So I know the terminology now. It's not called targeting through the TV. Michael Barden talks about it in his video. There is literally a program, a government program that they use on targets called shadow networking. And so it is what I said, or what I suspected, that it's some sort of AI generator that they're using to hack all of your different social medias and manipulate it. So anyways, I'm going to play that video because I'm talking too much. I don't want this video to be too long. And let him talk about 3 of the things that they use in this program and talk about that a little bit with you guys. And then I'm going to share the video with Lornetta, where she's kind of giving information about just reacting and not reacting, and the fact that this is somewhat of a computer simulation, this program. It's all technology. You know my song Technology? I was really saying technology because everything I started to realize is technology. The freaking nature outside, the birds, the insects, everything you're seeing outside. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying they've taken all the insects and all of the birds and turned it into technological devices, but quite a few of the birds you see outside and insects are military drones. It's everywhere. All these different frequencies from the Wi-Fi. They have 5G, 4G, 3G, 2G. Everything is technology right now. The Earth's frequency has a natural frequency. It's not even operating correctly because of all these unnatural frequencies they have going on with the Wi-Fi and the 3G and the 5G and all these different things. This is why there's so much illness in the world right now too, because of these unnatural frequencies. That's what's going on. It's all technology. And so this is somewhat, you could say, a computer simulation. This is why it's to the point now where they're trying to push this transhumanism agenda, because it's like the world is technology right now. And so they're literally trying to now morph even human life with technology. They're chipping humans. They're putting nanobots in humans and creating a different species. They're trying to play God with this program. And so that's what the agenda is with this program. Check out, again, guys, I'm saying again, I didn't mention it in this video. Let me show y'all. Check out my Harvard scientist exposes CIA mind control used on targeted individual video. You can see the thumbnail is right above my graduation thumbnail, and you can see it says Harvard scientist exposes CIA mind control weapons still being used today. Oh my God, that interview is gold. First of all, it has just under 500,000 views. So it has about, you could say if you rounded, 500,000 views, right? And it's this big popular YouTuber that's interviewing an actual DARPA scientist. And not just a DARPA scientist, but then he's also interviewing a fellow target who used to be a part of a government program. I believe he said the CIA. I'm not sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing. So he's interviewing the two of them and getting information, and the DARPA scientist is dropping some major bombs about what the agenda of the targeted individual program is. So please check that video out, because I share clips from the interview, pertinent information that I felt needed to be shared, and I provide a little bit of commentary on there. And then in the video, I also, in the comment section and description box, put the link to the actual interview. So please check that video out. It's deep. The whole agenda is to enact all of this technology, the brain chipping, the microchipping that they do to the targets and the nanobots. They're planning to do it to the general population. That's what the plan is, right? So basically, targets are just the experiments. So however you get thrown in the program, there are various ways that you can get thrown in. I talked about it in, which video did I talk about it in? Hold on, let me show y'all. I want to make sure things are organized. It was in this video, Gangs Talking Basics with Dr. Horton. Check that video out as well, because the more pertinent information is shared in that video. I talk about the 3 different ways you can get thrown in this program. So either you were a whistleblower, so you were part of a former government agency such as the CIA, FBI, or NASA, and then you saw some things that you felt were not right, and so you decided to whistleblow and they targeted you. Or in my case, you were targeted because you pissed off the wrong person. Or the third category, random target, which actually makes up most of the targeted individual population, just so you know. And there's a reason why. The DARPA scientist explains it. But that third category, they're basically just picking random people from the population because, again, this is an experiment. So we're the control group. The targeted individuals are the control group for the experiment. So they can kind of take their analysis of us and apply that to the general population of how this technology works, right? So this is what they're doing. We're an experiment. We're the control group. And so those three categories is what makes up the targeted individual population. So you have random people just one day out of nowhere start dealing with this weird program that get targeted. You have people like me in category 2 that pissed off the wrong person. And for me, it was a misunderstanding. It really started from a text message. It's crazy how I got in this program. Y'all need to hear my story. It's nuts, bonkers. And this is why I keep telling it, because it's insane to me. And then there's category 1, the whistleblowers. So people like Ted Gunderson, who used to work for the FBI, basically saw some corruption. And I'm not anti-government. I'm not trying to dig up secrets. I'm not trying to dig in holes. I don't give a rat's ass. Blue pill me. I don't even want this red pill. The Mossad must have chose me or something, because I didn't even want to deal with this. I don't even want to know this info. If they would leave me alone, I'd stop talking about it, because really and truly, I realize it's bigger than me, right? I'm not trying to fight this war. I'm going to let the Mossad deal with it. I just want to live a normal life. I want to work, go home, mind my business like I've done my whole life. That's what I want to do. But I'm only talking about it because I'm dealing with it. And so I started to learn about it, and I was like, oh my God. And so this is why I started talking about it. But literally people like Ted Gunderson, right? So he was in the FBI and he saw some corruption. I'm not anti-government. I'm just literally telling y'all what it is. He saw some corruption and started whistleblowing, right? And he became targeted. There were people like Eric Snowden, another person that worked for, I don't want to say the wrong government program, but he was working with the Patriot Act. So he was one of those people that was siphoning through phone calls, because everyone's phone call is being monitored, just so you know, and recorded, even if you're not a target. And you have somebody in an office going through your phone call, right? You have different workers in different office cubicles going through all of the phone calls, looking for keywords that they can use to target people and mark them as terrorists. And so basically Eric Snowden was seeing people getting marked as terrorists that were not terrorists for the slightest of stupidest things, right? And so he felt like it was total corruption and it wasn't right. And the level of privacy infringement that was happening with this Patriot Act, he didn't think it was right. And so he went and he started to whistleblow. He went over to China and he blew the whistle. And that's how he became targeted. So I'm not going to go into the details. That's category 1, the whistleblowers. They're actually a small part of this population. They're a very small part of this population. Then you got category 2 that I'm in, where you pissed off the wrong person. Small part of the population as well, just so you know. Then you have category 3, which actually majority of targets are falling into category 3. And those are the people that are just being picked at random, literally like a lottery ticket, that type of thing. Uh-oh, your name came up, picked randomly and thrown into this program for them to experiment, right? So they can eventually enact it on the general population. So that's what's going on with the program, just so you know. Anyways, so I just basically learned more information. It's not really new to me what Michael Barton said in this video. It's all stuff that I've talked about. I just learned what the term is now. I learned the lingo or the jargon. I know what the terminology is now. I know what to call it. So being targeted through the TV, or when they're manipulating your social media and sending you all these videos with stimuli in it to paint a false narrative or whatever they're trying to do, basically that is called, it's two things, right? So they're using shadow networking to do it. This is a software program, AI program that they have. It's called shadow networking. And then what they're doing to paint a false narrative, right, to warp the target's view and reality is called soft warfare. So I'm going to go ahead and share the video with you.
Names that would be good for you to research. Gotta be quick here. So the first one, Private Berge, Patrick Berge, created for the Department of Defense.
Sorry guys, I was trying to turn my Sorry guys, I was trying to turn my fan off. Let me go ahead and play it now. And all now as I speak, I'm hearing the hum. You know, there's this video I saw that was talking about the percentage of the population that can hear the hum, which are targeted individuals because we're microchipped or whatever. They're doing V2K with that. They start to do the hum at certain points. So I'm hearing the hum right now. But I'm going to continue to play.
Digital soldiers and citizen journalists. I have three names that would be good for you to research. Gotta be quick here. So the first one, Private Berge, Patrick Berge, created for the Department of Defense a program called ShadowNet. You might have heard it called Obama ShadowNet, artificial intelligence to social engineer through social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. You see weird things happening in your social media. That alternative weapon that was created to be used in warfare against other countries, enemies, not allies, uh, looks like it's being used against us.
Y'all, I hope you heard when he said warfare, heard the motorbike, right? That person's probably microchipped. There's this like bald headed dude in this neighborhood. Let me not get nasty with my words because I did learn my lesson. I definitely did about reacting. I know what they do, right? Because of course that's going to be annoying, him doing that, right? So of course my reaction would be to say something nasty in response, human reaction, and they would take the moment of me saying that and paint me like a bitch. So I'm going to stop myself, right? But just hear the noise campaign. You heard the ref campaign. I hope the video picked up, and I'm not sure if it did when he said that it's supposed to be used in warfare. No, it's not supposed to be used against innocent civilians that hurt your feelings that you don't like. It's supposed to be used in actual warfare against people that are trying to take down the nation. That's what it's supposed to be used against, not against innocent civilians that hurt your feelings. But let me go ahead and continue to play the video.
Looks like it's being used against us. Okay, the second name, Chuck DeCaro, DeCaro. I worked personally, trained personally with Chuck DeCaro on something called software, SOFTWAR, and that is using multimedia applications to manipulate the enemy's perception of reality. Photo, video, broadcast journalism. You know, you've heard the term fake news. Creating narratives to keep the
Okay, hold on what he said, creating narratives. So remember, when you become a target, it's a big ass smear campaign. And I'm sure if you're targeted, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to tell you, right? Especially those of you that are in the third category, right? Where you're just randomly selected for this program. They will stop at nothing to go ahead and go through full throttle with this experimentation. And so they'll paint whatever narrative they have to of you. And so for me, you know, literally what he just said, how they use the soft warfare to social engineer and paint false narratives, that has been the theme of my targeting. And this is where the other video I'm about to share with Lornetta ties into this one. Because in that video that I'm about to share with her, she's going to be talking about how this is literally a computer simulation, you know, because everything is technology at this point. So that's what she means, right? And so everything that you feed the simulation is what will be fed back to you. So they're already trying to paint a false narrative of you and warp your view and your reality, right? And so if you feed the program anything, they will use whatever you feed it to create whatever false narrative they want to create. And so I'll give you an example. When I was in the States and my targeting went viral, when I was in Florida, you know, I talked about the fact that I was having some major anxiety reactions because I kept seeing they were using this shadow networking that Michael just mentioned a little while ago, you know, where they're able to manipulate and social engineer your social media, right, to create the false narrative. They were doing that to me and I didn't know that. I didn't even know I was a target. That was before I got back to Island. So every minute they were sending me things about lust and predators and this and that and angels watching. But angels, they probably mean fallen angels, not the real angels, right? And so I remembered I kept having these reactions because anytime they would send that, in the background, people would be zooming by, like vroom, 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 every minute. And it was like so many vehicles, so many. You know how Florida is. It was so many of them zooming by, right? And coming in by my car too, you know, and throwing stuff on my roof. So you can imagine the type of reactions I was having in that vehicle. Anytime those things would come in and I know they're watching me, you know, I hadn't even learned about the insect drones yet. I just knew my car was bugged and somehow they were seeing me, right? So anytime that would come on, I would start to breathe funny. I would have this anxious, and check out my PTSD video. Remember, y'all, I told y'all, one thing about me is I use my wit. I create a video about every tactic that they use in this program. Check out my PTSD video, right? I very clearly explain what they use and how it can cause an anxious reaction that is not indicative of anything but PTSD, right? So check out my video. Let me show y'all that video real quick. I don't want to go off on a tangent. I don't want to lose where I'm at with what I'm talking about, but let me just quickly show y'all that. So if you haven't checked it out already, please check out my targeted individual PTSD and trauma video. Please check that out where I kind of talk about that, being watched 24/7 on camera and the tactics that they use. That's one of the covert tactics that they use. Painting false narratives, sending stimuli to sensitize you, and then having you watched for a reaction and making noises in the background. It's a very efficient program. And they're programming you too, by the way. This is why it's called social engineering. They are programming you with false narratives and warping your reality. This is what Michael just mentioned. It's called soft warfare. So they want you to have a certain reaction to certain stimuli, and they want to program you to feel a certain way about certain stimuli. So it's to the point where you feel like you're on eggshells. It's the craziest thing that they do with this program. It's very efficient. And if you don't learn it, you are in big hot water. You better learn this program and you better learn how you can fight it. So anyways, so that's what they're doing. It's called soft warfare. And so Lornetta was saying basically in the video I'm about to share after this one, that whatever you feed this program is what you're going to get back. So basically they will take whatever you give them like ammo and use it to perpetuate the targeting and to create false narratives. So like I said, when I was in Florida before I came home, of course I didn't mention witchcraft when I was up there. I felt like it was happening, but I didn't mention it. So I wasn't getting stimuli about that at all. Nothing about that. The only thing they were sending me was things about lust because I hadn't told my story about the text message and talked about what happened in the Airbnbs before I even got home and sent the text message. So I hadn't gotten a chance to tell my story yet. So they were running with whatever narrative they had to run with. And the reason being is because I was being stalked heavily, right? In Indiana and in Florida. And I hadn't gotten a chance to tell my story. And so instead of using my brain and telling my story, which I did when I got home back to Island, instead I had these egregious reactions and I said offensive stuff and I shared offensive content, even Hebrew Israelite propaganda. I said things about the Jewish people who, no disrespect to them, but anybody knows this. You can do your research. They run America. They own all of the major corporations, all of the TV networks, all of that. They run everything in America. So that was the worst people I could have came for. No disrespect to them again. I'm just telling you, I really made some poor choices when it came to being a target because I didn't know how the program worked. And so I sat there sharing Hebrew Israelite propaganda, right? Then I also shared some what would be called anti-Semitic information, right? And I can see how it would be offensive. I'm not foolish. I understand that. And I don't support what I shared, but I just want you to understand it was coming from an angry, desperate place. But I shared that information. I did. And then some of this information I had learned growing up as well, and then some of it was extra fodder that I didn't need to throw in there. But I shared information out of anger and desperation because of the abuse that I was receiving and not understanding how the program works. And so I said some very outrageous things, some racially charged things as well. And so understand that this is why my targeting is as bad as it is right now. It's not even just civilians after me. It's the higher ups. I pissed off the higher ups. And so this is why they're bending over backwards, using everything they got. And they got a lot of power and they got a lot of technology and they're using it on me full throttle. But they never met a target like me before, I'm sure. Because I have definitely been refuting everything. That's why they keep sending me videos that I'm like the honey badger and I'm like the this and the that. They sent me a video recently with their little shadow networking that I'm like the honey badger. They said the lion is afraid of the honey badger and the bear is afraid of the honey badger and everyone's afraid of the honey badger because it won't it's hard to beat and this and that. They keep sending me stuff like that because I keep refuting. I'm not getting mad and acting ignorant like what they want. I'm not getting mad and letting Instead, I'm sitting here and I'm articulating and I'm exposing what I need to expose. I'm not going too deep because I'm not trying to dig too deep. I don't want any more problems than what I already have, but I will expose what I need to protect myself. And so this is what I'm doing. And I'm articulating what's going on and I'm clearly refuting every false narrative that they try to paint. And so they hate my ass. I'm a pain in the ass for them and I love it. Let them continue. I'm going to continue too. If they would leave me alone, I would shut up. They would never hear from me again. I'm telling you, I would go back to living the life I've always lived. I'd be a quiet, stay to myself person. I would work, take my ass home, and nobody would see my face. This is how I lived before this weird shit started happening to me. Anyway, so I forgot what I was saying. So this is what they do. They social engineer and paint false narratives. And so this is what Lornetta was saying in the video I'm going to share next. Basically just talking about be careful with what you put out or what you project. Instead of projecting, I'm a victim, this is happening to me, this is happening to me, or projecting, negative things that they can use as ammo basically to propel your targeting and create false narratives. Instead, you need to project positivity and focus on good things. And so this is what I learned and I realized, but you also do still need to document it. She said that as well. But I'm just saying, they took everything, anything that I said in my video, they tried to take it and use it for this social engineering to warp my view, and not just my view, others' view and reality of me. It's crazy what they can do with this program. They're very good. And so basically in my story, when I initially came home, after dealing with what I dealt with in Florida, not knowing that they had this shadow networking thing, I just kept getting these weird videos about lust and predators. And so they were zooming like crazy in the background. I'm like, oh my God, I know I didn't do anything. These people probably really think I did something because these videos keep popping up. I'm like, why is this happening? I was thinking it was witchcraft, not knowing that it was the damn government using their shadow networking technology on me. And the people in the background, the gang stalkers, probably well know about it too. And I didn't. And they're zooming by and I'm breathing anxious because I'm like, oh my God, they think I did something. They keep sending me things about predators and, not knowing that they have the technology to do this, and so just thinking that it was some sort of witchcraft or something spiritual going on. I'm like, I know I didn't do anything, but I keep getting videos about predators and angels watching and, these people in the background are staring at me however they're doing it and zooming by. So I'm just having all these weird reactions in my car. Oh my God, I was struggling in Florida. I'm telling you, I got so skinny. My face was broken out. I was on, I'm telling y'all, it was bad, right? But they were not posting anything about witchcraft. They were not posting anything about plaid shirts. They were not posting any of the new stuff that they're using now with their social engineering. Anything that I've said in my videos or talked about, they've literally taken it and created it into stimuli and then also tried to paint false narratives with it. It's this weird thing that they're doing. It's really creepy and weird what they're doing. And so I caught on to what they were doing and I started talking about it. But now I know what it's called. It's called soft warfare and social engineering via shadow networking. So anyway, let me finish playing this Michael Barden video, and then I'm going to go ahead and share the video with Lornetta, where she's telling you to be careful because this is a computer simulation, and whatever you feed it is what you're going to get back.
Enemy, which turns out we the people have become the enemy and of the deep state, and you can go further with that. So the third person, Dr. Robert Duncan, worked for Department of Defense, CIA, DARPA, a contractor, graduated from Harvard. He created neural networks, neural link technology. So basically brain connection technology, synthetic telepathy, voice to skull technology, remote neural monitoring. Look these up. Pause the video, look this stuff up, do your own research. There's plenty of
Guys, this is all a part of the New World Order agenda. Like I said, that video I mentioned earlier with the Harvard scientist, right? The DARPA scientist. He's talking about this technology and what it's being used for. They're planning to use it on the general population to enact the New World Order. It came straight out of the horse's mouth. So that's what it's being used for. And apparently, Robert Duncan, I've mentioned him in several videos. He even wrote a book about it. He worked for them, and apparently, he didn't know that they would be using it. That's what he claims. He didn't know that they would be using it on civilians. I don't see how he couldn't have known that. But I mean, I'm not gonna let me not go there.
of information out there. I've spoken with him personally through social media, on radio talk shows, and he's basically blown the whistle saying, they told me they wouldn't use this against their own citizens, and now guess what? It's being used against their own citizens. So please look those three people up, do your research. I might have some interviews coming up soon. Stay.
All right, guys.
Shocking new details in the
Whoopsie. So let me play that video now. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I'm just gonna play from 12 minutes and 47 seconds. I'm gonna play a few minutes of it, basically where she's just telling you to be positive and to be careful because this is a computer simulation, and whatever you feed it is what you will get back. And that ties into what Michael Barden was just talking about with social engineering and how they can paint false narratives with their technology to warp your view, and not just your view, but others' view as well. They're really very good at what they do. It's a very comprehensive government program. So be careful whatever you feed this program.
Like they're trying to get you to be. Now, how can you get yourself out of this? I'm going to tell you what I did. Okay? You have to change the way you think. You have to change the way you think. Because this is a computer program, a computer program responds by what you put into it. And the output is based upon what you put into this computer program. The targeting program is a computer generated program. If you put every single day into this computer program, I'm being gang stalked, I'm being followed, this is happening to me, this is happening to me, I have pain, I'm sick, no one wants to help me, I feel suicidal, I'm going to do this is negative, this is negative, this is negative, 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 negative. Because it is a computer generated simulation, the output is what the computer is going to do. It's going to calibrate everything you say, because that's how computers work. Everything you say, and it's going to treat it as a command, and it's going to automate itself. It's going to program itself to do, and that's generate. Once you discover this secret about the targeting program, once you discover this secret that it is a computer automated generated response to whatever stimuli or into it, that is what the output is going to be. So what do you need to do to reverse this? Watch what you say. Let me tell you something. Those of you, and I am not even dealing with the part of the program that's controlled by entities in the other realm.
So that thing that she's saying there, and I've talked about this in several videos, is the fact that I believe this is a fallen angel program. I don't want to dig too deep because I don't want to get in problems.
With WGU, there's no excuses.
Like
But if you read the Bible and you read Revelations, right, you understand that in the end times, when they start making people take the mark, which obviously this chip is not the mark because they didn't let us consent to this. They can't put something on you that you didn't consent to. So this is not the mark, but this is the ushering in of those times. That's my belief system. And so what I believe, and I think this is where Lynette is coming from, she says she's not religious. You know, some people like her who aren't religious, they feel like it's aliens. So they feel like the other dimension that's running the program are aliens that run the higher up government. I believe that too, but I believe those aliens are fallen angels. I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. And honestly, I don't even want to dig into that stuff. Like I said, I know this is bigger than me. I'm not trying to expose or dig too deep and end up in a deep rabbit hole. I don't want no problems. And I realize too what I say and I feed this program, they throw it back at me full throttle. So I'm trying to be very careful with my words. But I've said this in several videos already. I believe that aliens are the fallen angels. That's just my perception. It's not fact. This is just a subjective opinion. But I believe that the aliens are fallen angels. And so I believe that this program is ran by fallen angels, or who conspiracy theorists might call the reptilian people. And so that's what I believe is going on. I'm sorry if that sounds crazy. Sorry, not sorry. That's my belief system. And so when she says other dimension that runs the program, I believe that's who she's referring to. There are several targets that believe that this is ran by other dimensions. And actually, there are a lot of Christian targets as well that talk about that this is a satanic program. That's why constantly you hear me say that, because it's ran by spiritual entities. This is what I found out from the research I've done. And I didn't have to do research to find it out either. That's common sense. With this type of technology that they have, you think they really created this shit? They didn't create this. They got this from fallen angels, period. And again, I say that with conviction, but it's a subjective opinion. I don't have any proof or solid evidence of it. This is just my subjective perspective.
like they're trying to get you to be. Now, it's like you, and B, remote controlled, just like they're trying to get you to be. Now, how can it's like you and that they're just watching you? No, the people who are paid to harass you understand that they are A, just like you, and B, remote controlled, just like they're trying to get you to be. Now, how can you get yourself out of this? I'm going to tell you what I did. Okay? You have to change the way you think. You have to change the way you think. Because this is a computer program, a computer program responds by what you put into it. And the output is based upon what you put into this computer program. The targeting program is a computer generated program. If you put every single day into this computer program, I'm being gang stalked, I'm being followed, this is happening to me, this is happening to me, I have pain, I'm sick, no one wants to help me, I feel suicidal, I'm going to do this is negative, this is negative, this is negative, 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 negative. Because it is a computer generated simulation, the output is what the computer is going to do. It's going to calibrate everything you say, because that's how computers work. Everything you say, and it's going to treat it as a command, and it's going to automate itself. It's going to program itself to do, and that's generate. Once you discover this secret about the targeting program, once you discover this secret that it is a computer automated generated response to whatever stimuli or into it, that is what the output is going to be. So what do you need to do to reverse this? Watch what you say. Let me tell you something. Those of you, and I am not even dealing with the part of the program that's controlled by entities in the other realm. Okay, that's another part I'm leaving out, but I'm explaining to you the basis of this program. And I'm not the only person who discovered this. Many people have discovered this and were able to get themselves out of it. And since I've been doing this, it's gone from here, it's gone from literally 200 to minus, 100. And I'm like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. Okay? Now, what I need you to understand is this. The billionaire tech guys, they're all pushing brain to computer interface. Listen carefully to the words. Brain to computer interface. Where the computer, you download everything that's in the human psyche, brain, mind, and human psyche into a computer. The computer hijacks it because it's all illegal. The computer hijacks it and basically acts like you. Whatever you put into that computer, Elon Musk talked about it. Bill Gates spoke about this. The former Google executive, I can't remember her name. She did a whole,
Guys, now every time I speak to her, listen. Now, I hope you guys heard that, right? I stopped purposely so you could hear it. Now, understand that whoever that person is, they're chipped. He's microchipped. There's no doubt in my mind about it. For you to sit on your fat ass all day long, zooming up and down on a motorcycle, listening like a demon to what somebody has going on in their personal space so that you can zoom by and antagonize them, there is no way you can tell me that person's not possessed. So he has a chip in his brain. There's no doubt in my mind about it, right? But understand, he's zooming by because she said, now again, it's ignorance, and this is why comprehension is key, right? She said that the program downloads everything in your brain, so it acts like you, and then hijacks everything, right? So it's going to project things to seem like it's like you, but it's not. It's hijacking it, right? So it hijacks your personal information, and it can warp and create and social engineer false narratives. So for me, in other words, let me give an example because that's the best way that you can learn, right? For me, I sat there in my videos and I talked about the fact that I felt like someone had done witchcraft on me, and that's how I got in this program. And I felt like my roommate had done witchcraft on me. I didn't say she did it. I said I suspect that she did it. The moment I said that past my lips in my video, that became a part of the constant stimuli that they were shadow networking me with. So constantly they were sending videos to sensitize me about witches and about witchcraft and about this and about that. Anything that I talked about. You know, I talked about some insecurities that I had as well that also started being sent to me, right? So they take whatever information you have, right? So information about you, and they hijack it. Comprehension is key, right? And they social engineer it to create false narratives. So let me continue playing the video.
Google executive, I can't remember her name. She did a whole, panel on this. I'm not telling you things that's not going on. Whatever you put into that computer is what the computer is going to output. This is the secret to the targeting program. So how do you beat this? Okay. If you find yourself in this program, this is what you have to do. You have to understand that it is a computer simulated program. The most important thing you do is maintain your life. Maintain a sense of as much normalcy as possible. Number two, you can study the targeting program without feeding the targeting program. Okay, how do you study it without feeding? You can study all the things that occur so you're knowledgeable about how the program works. But you do not, when this person does something, you do not react to everything they do. Because when you react, that computer system generates a response based on.
And guys, that's Exhibit A because just now I gave it a reaction.
Thank you. Well, executive, I can't.
That's an Exhibit A, guys, because just now I had a reaction. Again, said offensive stuff, right? In reaction to him zooming by and not having comprehension skills. Even now, I'm being condescending, but it's so irritating. They're so good at what they. I keep saying this, a comprehensive program. It's so irritating, right? That it can really get under your skin and make you have a reaction, right? They're so good at what they do that they could get even the freaking quietest and most meekest of people to react adversely. They are very good at what they do. That's all I'm going to say. They're very good. It's a comprehensive program. So even me now at ninja level, as advanced as I am, I still have reactions. And then also too, sorry to TMI you all, but it is that time of month, and for those of you that have been avid followers, I know that y'all know that I have reactions around this time of month. This is when they can get a reaction out of me. I've constantly said that in my videos. And so that's also part of it. But I'm not even going to use that as a clutch or as an excuse. I'm still human at the end of the day. So even with me being at ninja level and knowing not to react, I have my moments where I do, especially when I'm trying to make a video and you're zooming by and lacking comprehension skills. It irritates me. And because the reason I'm being condescending is because he was trying to antagonize me, obviously, in that moment. And so this is why I'm being condescending. I have to say it very clearly because remember, they document everything and use it to propel targeting. They would take that moment and paint me like a bitch too, believe it, even though I was being antagonized and reacting to abuse. That's how it works. That's a prime example of how it works. So anyways, let me go ahead and continue. she has quite a bit more to go here, like 20, a few more minutes here, like about 10 more minutes of the video. That's all I really wanted to share with you guys. It's her talking about the fact that this is a computer simulation, because it ties into what Michael Barden was saying with the AI that they're using to shadow net you, and to do soft warfare. It's an AI computer based system. It's a computer simulation, you could basically say. And so, whatever you project or put out there, this is where the law of attraction comes in, you get it back. They social engineer and use their AI to create false narratives. And they will take anything that you say and they will use it as ammo to propel whatever agenda they're trying to propel. So that's all I'm trying to say. I just wanted to share more information with you guys. Basically stuff I've talked about already. I just, like I said, learned the jargon, the lingo, the terminology. I now know what it's called. I'm not just using my own analysis of what I think is going on. So it's not targeting through the TV. It's called shadow networking. That's what it's called. And it's soft warfare, where they're using these different AI systems to social engineer and warp your view and to create these false narratives. That's what they're using. It's literally comprehensive government programs and technology that's meant to be used in warfare, but it's being used on innocent civilians because people don't like the civilian. That's literally what it is, but it's deeper than that. It's also at the higher level being used experimentally so that they can eventually enact it on and use it on the general population. This is basically, as I keep saying, the ushering in of the New World Order. That's what it is. And so I keep trying not to make these videos, guys. That's why I haven't been making it. I've literally taken Lornetta's advice. Not just her advice. I actually came to that realization on my own. And so seeing her video was kind of like synchronicity for me. And it was really just more so like, I don't know, support or validation in how I had already been feeling, about changing my mindset and being positive and focusing on good and taking care of myself and not constantly feeding into what this thing does, right? Because all day long, if you do that, you're gonna just rob your own self of your own life. That's crazy. So that's why I stopped making the videos. I made enough, right? I have, like I said, a video for every tactic and every freaking thing they try to do. I bust a video on one time. I have a video for everything. And so this is why I haven't really been making videos like that. I was planning to do a workout video where I kind of just gave y'all, like I said, a before kind of thing so you could see how I'm looking. It's been about 2 weeks of me vigorously working out 2 times a day. I changed my diet up too. And so I am seeing slight results in my thighs, but nothing major. So it can serve as a before, the video that I'm going to create. And then, about a month or two later, if the most I spares my life, I will come with an update for y'all to see my progress. So be looking out for that video. That video will be coming soon and I will be on camera. I'm trying to get my hands on another camera, another computer with a decent camera. So when I do, y'all will finally see me on camera again. I know it's been a while. And so this will be an on-camera video, kind of full body, I'll just show y'all what's going on, and give y'all an update. And then from there, just keep y'all updated on my fitness journey, what's going on with my career, etc., etc. And anytime I do need to document about the program. But for the most part, I'm not really making videos about this program. But I had to make this one because they're still constantly, of course, using the shadow networking and soft warfare against me. And so when I saw that video from Michael Barden and I learned what the terminology was, I was like, nah, I have to make this video. I learned 3 days ago, I was like, I have to make this video. But I kept putting it off and putting it off. And then just now they sent me another gnarly video or movie. And I was like, no way, I'm making this video tonight. And so this is why I made the video. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.